Weight loss and menopause. Welcome, everyone. So nice to have you here with me, beautiful women. We're talking weight loss in menopause. So if you've been trying to eat less and you're eating less than you've ever eaten, and the scale keeps climbing and climbing, this session is for you. I meet so many women who are cutting down what they're eating, and their body's not responding to that, of course. So, of course, this is not a problem where, eating less and living more is going to help you. Your body is responding hormonally. This is a hormonal issue, one that you can actually change. So that's what we're going to talk about today. By the end of this session, you're going to understand the signals that are actually driving the excess weight post-menopausally, after the perimenopause stage. Don't worry if you are perimenopausal and you're watching this, there'll be loads of fantastic information in this for you as well. So, quick announcement before we begin. Well, let me introduce myself first. My name's Tori Van. And I'm a women's integrative nutrition and lifestyle coach. I'm also a functional weight loss specialist and the creator of the Radiant Health Reset program, which is the program that has all those incredible results that you read about on social media. We've had Grace through our program. Grace dropped 12.7 kilos and she was absolutely thrilled with her result. And then we had Penelope. Penelope came to us with Hashimoto's and lost 7 kilos, was absolutely thrilled. We had Renee. Renee was all over social media talking about her incredible results she got. She released the weight, she managed to kick her wine habit, and all of her perimenopause symptoms went away. So many stories, more about it at the end. If this is your very first time watching one of my live trainings, then I would love for you to say hello. You can just drop me a comment saying, hi, I'm new around here, and then I can welcome you to my community. If you've been here before, oh, Jenny's here. Jenny's one of my amazing Radiant Health Reset star participants. We loved having Jenny in the community. So good to have you here, Jenny. If you want, you can talk a little bit about your experience of Radiant Health Reset, some of the benefits that you've noticed in this program, because we are going to have a very small intake very soon. In the next few days. If you are interested in the Radiant Health Reset, you need to let me know. Don't miss out. I've had women go, oh, I didn't realize you were opening the door. I opened the door and then I closed the door. So you got to get in. If you want to join us and you want to experience all these benefits too, jump in while you can. So yes, if you're a new person, let me know. If you've been watching me for quite a little while now, then please say hi because we're already friends. If you're catching the replay, then I would love if you could type hashtag replay and let me know where you're watching from. It's great for me to know who catches up on these live trainings. All right, so weight loss in menopause, what actually works? Well, you probably thought, because society has told us for so long that this is a problem with what we're eating, how much we're eating, maybe we're not moving enough, maybe it's just simple maths, right? Maybe your body's like a calculator, energy in, energy out. Well, no, it's actually not like that. The truth is that this incredible machine is highly adaptive and always adjusting according to the environment. And in menopause, our hormonal environment has shifted significantly. And that shift that we've been through is going to determine what our body does with food and determine how our body stores fat or not, and whether it's willing to release that fat or not. When you slash your calories and you're down to eating not very much, what actually is going to happen is you're going to create even higher, consistently higher levels of cortisol because it's such a stress on the body, and your thyroid conversion is going to get suppressed even more, and your muscle is going to get broken down because your body needs access to energy, and so it's going to break down your muscle for access to that energy, and your insulin resistance situation is going to become even worse. So you feel like you're doing the right thing by eating less and moving even more. But that strategy is like being in a battle with your body. You're fighting your biological design by doing this. So you're not, if you continue to put on weight through menopause, I want you to know this. It's not because you have shitty willpower and you should restrict yourself even more. It's because you're probably using tools that don't work on a menopausal body. So the problem isn't you, and the problem isn't your body. The problem is the strategy you're using. The problem is the information that you got given. Might have been from a well-meaning GP, might have been from a well-meaning PT, or maybe from the internet or some friends of yours or some other source, but not from someone who understands menopausal biology and biochemistry and hormonal balance. So we need to change the strategy. The empowering thing is you can, at any moment, change your strategy. If you feel a bit like you've been doing all the right things and yet the scale just climbs and climbs, I want you to let me know in the comments, please. Just say, yes, all the right things. I feel like I was doing all the right things. So let's talk a little bit about hormonal balance and how this comes into what works in terms of menopausal weight loss. Clearly, in menopause, we have very low levels now of reproductive hormones. Estrogen and progesterone are low now, and they're going to stay low. And that's the context that we're working within. We're not going to fight that reality. They're going to be low. Jenny says, I'm eating more than I have in years and my meno belly is shifting. Oh, don't we just love hearing that? That's what we want. We want you to nourish your body and love food. That is so good, Jenny. Thank you for sharing that with us. I know it was so important for Jenny as well as so many women to start to lose the meno belly. And the great news is you don't have to eat less to do it. In fact, if you do eat less, you're probably going to cause yourself even bigger struggles. So on this reproductive balance, we're not going to fight the reality that we have very low levels of estrogen and progesterone now. Meanwhile, though, we have some struggles, and I'll come back to the reproductive hormones in just a second, but I just want to name that we've also got struggles with insulin and cortisol and thyroid hormones and perhaps poor muscle to fat ratio. So we've got a few factors here, and hormone clearance, right? We've got a few factors that come into this. This is it was never that your body's a calculator and is just not doing the maths right. That was never it. Your body's a complex machine with different systems and inputs. And when a menopausal woman comes to me and she wants to lose weight, I know what I've got on my hands here is multi-system imbalances. Now, to me, it feels very simple. And to you, it might feel quite complex. That's okay. That's why you come to me. I'm the expert who can help you. But that's what we've got on the table is insulin, cortisol, thyroid, and we've got muscle to fat ratio, and we've got struggles with hormone clearance. So let's just focus in right now on one particular influencing factor, which is estrogen and progesterone ratio. So yes, it's true. Your ovaries have stopped making estrogen. I agree with you, they have. However, you can still be estrogen dominant, even still. And it would take me all day to explain this in a way that would probably really land for you and make sense, but let's keep it really simple and say that the fat on our bodies, be it visceral fat, be it adipose fat, if you want to learn more about the different types of fat on our body, come join me in the Radiant Health Reset, because this is where we share all of this information. The fat that's on your body is metabolically active tissue. It doesn't just sit there being a pain in the bum when you want to tie your shoelaces. It doesn't just sit there creating embarrassment when you want to wear a cute little cocktail dress. It's actually a problem for your health. It's metabolically active tissue. It's actually creating hormonal imbalance actively. We don't want this. What's happening is that the fat on our bodies is actually making estrogen through an enzyme called aromatase. The process is aromatization. That fat on your body is creating more estrogen. And well, I wasn't going to talk about this today, but let me just throw this out there. A problem with that is that it's not the helpful kind of estrogen. It's not the kind of estrogen that makes you feel good. It's estrone, it's not estradiol. All right. I don't want to get too technical here and too complex here, but it's creating a very kind of weak form of estrogen. Estrone is the form of estrogen that's associated with cancer, increased cancer risk. So it's not the one that we want to make more of. It also is a very kind of inflammatory form of estrogen. So it's not going to give you great benefits for energy and mood, and it's not going to be protective against cancer like estradiol would be. So this is not a form of estrogen that we want. Now, to put this into context, if you're menopausal, you have progesterone levels that are essentially zero now, nothing notable being produced now. So if you've got your progesterone virtually zero, but your body is making estrogen through your fat stores, then what we have is we have more estrogen on board than we have progesterone, and we call that estrogen dominance. You could have very, very low levels of estrogen and still be estrogen dominant, because estrogen dominance refers to the ratio of estrogen to progesterone, not overall levels of estrogen. And this problem of having estrogen dominance is that estrogen, when it's overtly higher than progesterone, signals for more fat storage. Now, typically women come to me and they don't have great liver and gut clearance. So the body might use the little estrogen that it has, and it's actually not clearing estrogen after it's used it. And the used estrogens are then recirculating instead of leaving the body, which is contributing even more to this estrogen dominance situation. And then in our environment, we're exposed to xenoestrogens constantly. And when those enter the body, they also look like estrogens. They're actually quite volatile estrogens. They're coming from our plastics and our personal care products and our cleaning products around our workplace or our home. And so we have this self-perpetuating loop. So the fat on our body, be it adipose tissue, be it visceral fat, is producing even more estrogen, and the estrogen is driving even more fat storage, and even more fat on the body is driving even more estrogen. What a vicious cycle to be stuck in. But the good news is there is an exit to this loop. The exit is supporting how your liver and your gut clear excess estrogens. We have to actively work on fat loss with a targeted strategy. We have to work on our gut. Did I mention that? I did mention that. And we don't want to fight our hormones, right? We just want to clear and unblock what is stuck. Have you guys ever heard this estrogen loop explained in this way before? Can you just let me know in the comments? Has anyone ever told you before that the fat stores on your body are actually creating even more estrogen, which is exacerbating an estrogen dominance loop, which is causing you to store even more fat? If this is the first time you've ever heard that, let me know in the comments. You can just say, first time I've ever had estrogen explained to me in that way. It's an unhelpful estrogen loop that is keeping you stuck with excess fat on your body. There's a little bit of a delay. Oh, Catherine's saying never. Okay. How interesting. And this is where I had a great conversation with my personal trainer this week about this concept of health at every size. And we were actually delving back into the history of the health at every size movement. Health at every size is not what we believe it to be out there. The health at every size movement actually initiated as a movement for GPs to treat all patients the same. So say, for example, if a patient came in and they had back pain, that they would not automatically be handed some pamphlets on weight loss, go home and lose weight, and they're left to go home on their own. They would actually be taken seriously, and all factors that could possibly drive back pain would be considered, no matter their size. So what we wanted, and this was actually an initiative in the UK, was health at every size was a movement where a person who was large would be treated the same as a person who was slim. They would still receive the same care from the doctor, rather than a slim person walks in and all factors in back pain would be considered, versus a large person walks in and the doctor assumes that it's only their weight is the problem. So that was where the health at every size movement apparently initiated. Where it's gone is more into a body positivity movement, which I'm all for. I'm all for body positivity. We should 100% love our bodies, but the greatest form of loving your body is nourishing your body, wanting the best for your body, and always taking action towards better health, and not simply believing that fat stores on our body are not a problem for our health, because they're a huge problem for our health. They put us at risk of cancer, they're inflammatory, and they're going to perpetuate the problem. So we're going to actively be working on fat stores to release them from the body so we can live a long, healthy, disease-free life. Releasing fat from the body is increasing your resilience in terms of your resilience and resistance to disease later in life. So now I want to talk about metabolic interventions that are ignored, or, I want to talk about muscle as the missing piece to the puzzle, is what I want to talk about. Muscle is the missing piece to this puzzle. So a lot of women who will be, yeah, so Michelle's saying first time as well. Great. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. That's really great for me to know. There's not a lot of good information out there for menopausal women and losing weight. So it's good for me to know the level of knowledge out there in the public. So muscle is the missing piece here. What I see a lot of menopausal women do, especially when I'm out at the gym or I'm out walking in the park, I can see women exercising, which is wonderful. We really want them to do that. But there's a big focus on the treadmill and there's a big focus on brisk walking. Now, in balance, these things aren't a problem, but what can be a problem is when women believe that they can try to burn off excess weight. It doesn't really work like that. So if they're doing a lot of cardiovascular activity, very brisk walking for extended periods of time, they're on the treadmill, they're running, aiming for more and more steps, trying to burn it off, unfortunately, that's going to work against them, because what actually is going to happen is muscle is going to start to break down to be used as an energy source. And that's a shame, because actually what we want is we want to retain our muscle, because muscle on our body is our metabolic engine. The more muscle you can keep on your body, the more we're sensitive to insulin. The higher our resting metabolic rate is, the rate at which we burn calories even when we're doing nothing at all. In menopause, muscle loss is accelerated, and women are not doing enough to counter this. And they're making it worse with their chronic cardio, like the brisk walking and the treadmills that I see constantly. So there's already cortisol dysregulation going on, and this is making it even worse. So they're not building their bodies up to be fat burning machines. They're actually breaking their bodies down by doing that. Resistance training in menopause is not a nice optional luxury. It's the single most impactful metabolic intervention that's available to you. So you don't have to do lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of movement. You just need to prioritize. You need to do the things that are actually going to change your metabolism. Muscle is a big lever that's available to you. It's sitting right there. You can do it at any time. In the Radiant Health Reset, we talk a lot about how we're going to build strength in our body, and I offer you a program. And some women want to work with a PT, but they're very specific with their PT about, here's what I'm going to do here. Or they might do Reformer Pilates, or they might choose something like that. But the point is to do something that's going to build. Okay? So if that is new to you, if you did not realize that the key to losing weight was, instead of trying to burn it off with lots of activity, instead it's to build strength, let me know in the comments. You can just write the word strength. If you had no idea that the key to burning this off was actually to get stronger, just write strength for me in the comments. Again, really useful information to me about what you know, what you don't know. All right, so a lot of women feel like they've been doing everything right in their lives, And yet there are still hidden things that are blocking their fat release. And they resist coming to work with me because they think, what can she possibly help me with? By the way, Michelle's in Radiant Health Reset with us as well. So it's really great to have Michelle commenting here. Thanks for being here, Michelle. Women will come to me and they'll go, oh, look, I pretty much know everything about losing weight. So I don't really think there's any advantage in me doing Radiant Health Reset or working with you because I probably won't learn anything new. I'm doing everything right. It just doesn't work for my body. Well, I'm sorry, it's not true. You're not doing everything right. I haven't met a woman yet who was getting it all right. Most women were getting the food wrong. Even women who think they're getting it right are getting the food wrong. Most women still have blood sugar instability and they are not aware of this. Most women still have chronically elevated cortisol and they don't realize that this is not just an mental emotional stress thing. Like, oh, it's cool. I meditate in the morning. I don't think stress is my problem. But they don't realize they have physical and biochemical stresses on their body through their choices throughout the day. Most women are not getting the sleep piece right. They might be sleeping a decent number of hours, but the sleep is not restorative. Most women are not getting the stress balance right, and they think that when I talk about stress, I just mean mental and emotional stress, and I don't, because there are plenty of other inputs that are creating poor cortisol rhythms in your body that are blocking you from losing fat also. So the foundations have to be right. But we also have to put into place specific interventions that are going to work at rebalancing the reproductive hormones as well. And we have to work on the gut because gut dysfunction is going to impair your nutrient absorption. And if you're not absorbing your nutrients, then you're not going to be able to power those systems in the body, which are critical to you being able to release weight, like your thyroid and thyroid hormone function in your body, like your cellular metabolism. If your gut is dysfunctional, which it is for most women, then you're also going to have a whole lot of inflammation in your body that's not going to help you either. Most women who come to me also have some degree of thyroid dysfunction also, even if it's subclinical. You know, they might have gone to the doctor and had their thyroid checked and they'll say to me, there's nothing wrong with my thyroid, I had it checked, but they had two markers. Typically they would have had TSH and T4 checked. That's not the full picture. There can be so much disease happening beyond TSH and T4 and women are not aware of it. All of the things I've talked about are addressable. That's the great news, okay? If you get labs and they come back and your doctor says everything's fine with your thyroid, or everything's fine with, I don't know, your iron stores, or everything's fine with your hormones, but you go, something's not right, you're probably right. Because getting normal labs don't mean nothing's wrong. It just means nothing's wrong enough for your doctor to say so. Because within our medical system, we wait until disease is apparent to actually do something about it. And I'm in the business of helping women thrive. I'm not interested in waiting until disease has progressed and then creating a management plan for it. I'm interested in helping women before that point, before things get so progressed. So let's bring this all home. Let's have you walk away with something. Weight loss in menopause was never going to be about eating less and moving more. It's about creating the environment, the biochemical environment, the hormonal environment in which your body loves and is willing to release fat. It's about addressing the inputs that weren't working in your favor: insulin, cortisol, thyroid, inflammation, estrogen clearance. Yeah, the estrogen to progesterone balance, the estrogen dominance, which can be apparent even in menopause, even though you're not creating reproductive hormones anymore. And then the body will respond because you created the right environment. And this is exactly what we do inside the Radiant Health Reset. There are 4 pillars of my work. By the way, the Radiant Health Reset is for perimenopausal women too. I happened to be talking about menopausal weight loss today. Perimenopausal weight loss is also our specialty inside the Radiant Health Reset, where you get the food and lifestyle system. You just follow the bouncing ball. You just follow our meal plans and you're getting it right. If you do that, you don't have to. They're not prescriptions, but they're provided for inspiration and they're delicious and they work really well. So you have our nutrition and lifestyle system. You have loads of accountability available to you. You're accountable to a community. You're accountable to me and my team as your coaches. And increasingly, you become accountable to yourself through the use of our digital journals. We have education. Each week I deliver training modules to you that you can watch and enjoy and repeat and come back to. You have them for the entire time that you're inside our community. The fourth pillar is really that cultivation of community with women who lift each other up, who support each other, who cheer each other on. We meet once a week on our open coaching calls. We take deep dives into the nerdiest topics. If you're a nerd, you'll love it. If you're not, it's okay. We'll explain it to you. But if you're someone who wants to understand how your menopausal or perimenopausal body works on a deep level, you want to make friends with your body so you can work with your body instead of against it, Radiant Health Reset is the perfect place for you. So we have an opening next week. We would love to have you come join us. We're just open for a very short time, taking a very small number of people. If you want in, please comment Radiant in big capital letters so that I can see your comment, and either myself or a member of my team will reach out to you with more information. If there's one thing you walk away with today, then I want you to know if your body is struggling with excess weight, it's simply responding to the environment you're asking it to live in. And the great news is we can change that environment and we can have the body that we desire. I thank you so much for, oh, Dushka is here as well. Hi, Dushka, nice to have you join us. Well, it has been such a pleasure being here with you this morning. I wish you all a beautiful day and I can't wait to see you next week. Don't forget, if you're interested in Radiant Health Reset, comment in big capital letters Radiant. Thank you so much and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye now.